Seniors, stop eating sardines until you see this shocking truth inside the can. Are your joints feeling stiffer than usual? Do you ever wake up feeling foggy with aching legs or swollen fingers, even when you thought you ate healthy the day before? Well, what if I told you that one of the most common foods praised as a superfood for seniors might be silently working against your body? It's true. A food that's often recommended for your heart, your brain, and your bones, one that's small, easy to eat, and stocked in almost every pantry, may actually be a hidden source of inflammation, toxins, and gut distress in older adults. What you're about to hear might shock you, because while sardines have been celebrated for decades as a nutritional powerhouse, new research is revealing that there's more inside that tin can than meets the eye. And for those over 60, the hidden costs may far outweigh the benefits, unless you know exactly what to look for. This isn't about fear, it's about clarity. Because when you understand the real story behind this popular fish, you can make smarter choices, choices that support your mobility, your memory, and your independence for years to come. So stick with me as we count down 5 powerful truths about sardines, including what most brands won't tell you, and why you should think twice before opening your next can. Number 5. The can itself may be doing the most damage. You've been told sardines are one of the healthiest foods in the sea. And to be fair, they do have some fantastic qualities. They're rich in calcium, protein, and omega-3s. But what most people never consider is what they're packaged in. Because the real danger may not be the fish, but the can. Most sardines are packed in aluminum or tin-lined cans. And many of these containers are coated with a chemical called bisphenol A, better known as BPA. You may have seen the phrase BPA-free on plastic bottles or containers, but here's the shocker. Many sardine brands still use cans lined with BPA or similar compounds. And for seniors, this is a serious problem. BPA is a known endocrine disruptor. That means it can interfere with your hormone levels, especially testosterone and estrogen, and throw your body's balance completely off. It mimics estrogen in the body, and when consumed regularly, it can contribute to fatigue, poor memory, reduced muscle tone, and even lower libido in men and women over 60. Now imagine this. You're doing your best to eat healthy. You're choosing sardines because of all the articles that say they're a clean source of omega-3s. But with every can, you might be ingesting trace amounts of a hormone-disrupting chemical that could be sabotaging your energy, mood, and even your metabolism. This isn't theoretical. Studies from institutions like the Harvard School of Public Health have shown that BPA exposure is associated with higher risks of heart disease, insulin resistance, and inflammation, all of which disproportionately affect seniors. And because your liver and kidneys process toxins more slowly as you age, even small amounts of BPA can accumulate over time, creating a toxic load that weighs on your body's most vital systems. So, how do you know if your sardines are affected? That's the tricky part. Many companies don't label their cans clearly. Some may say BPA-free, but still use alternative compounds like BPS or BPF, which, according to research from the NIH, may be just as harmful. And here's something else that might surprise you. Even if the can says BPA-free, that doesn't mean the fish inside is free of exposure. If the fish was processed, stored, or transported in plastic containers lined with these chemicals, it may have already absorbed them before it ever reached the shelf. Have you noticed lately that your joints feel tighter? Or that your sleep is more restless, even when you haven't changed your routine? These could be signs your body is responding to an inflammatory load, and BPA is a known trigger. You're not imagining it. Many seniors experience symptoms like brain fog after meals, increased belly fat or weight that won't budge, slower muscle recovery, and lower drive or poor sleep quality. And when we look deeper, chronic exposure to endocrine disruptors like BPA often plays a silent role in all of them. But here's the good news. You don't have to give up sardines entirely. You just need to choose smarter. Look for sardine brands that use glass jars instead of metal cans. These are usually more expensive, but they eliminate the risk of BPA entirely. If you prefer canned, do a bit of research. There are a handful of companies that use genuinely BPA-free, unlined cans, and they'll usually be proud to state that clearly on their website or packaging. Another tip: if you do eat canned sardines, transfer them to a glass or ceramic dish before heating or mixing them. Avoid microwaving or cooking them in the can, as heat can cause more BPA to leach into the fish. Because here's the bottom line. Every choice you make is either adding to your vitality or draining it. And if you're making the effort to eat fish for your health, you deserve to get the benefits, not the hidden chemicals. If you've made it this far and you're finding this valuable, now might be a good time to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss future insights just like this. And if you want to go even deeper, join us at thegoldenyearsrx.com. It's a safe and welcoming community where seniors share what's working, what's not, and how to feel young in a world that often tells you you're not. Up next, we're going to talk about something even more unexpected. It's not just about the can, it's about the oil inside. Because depending on what your sardines are packed in, you might be undoing every heart-healthy benefit you were hoping for. This next one might surprise you. Number 4. The oil they're packed in might be sabotaging your heart and joints. You pick up the can and it says packed in oil. That sounds good, right? Oil means flavor. Oil means fat. And fat is supposed to help your body absorb nutrients like vitamin D and omega-3s. But here's the twist most seniors don't see coming. The type of oil sardines are packed in could be turning this so-called superfood into a hidden trigger for chronic inflammation, joint pain, and even heart strain. And the older you are, the more dangerous this gets. Let's talk about the most common packing oils: soybean oil, sunflower oil, and canola oil. These are cheap, industrially refined oils often used because they extend shelf life and make the product more affordable. But these oils are also ultra-high in omega-6 fatty acids, the type that promotes inflammation when consumed in excess. Here's the key detail no one tells you. You need a healthy balance between omega-3 and omega-6 fats. In nature, that balance is often 1:1 or 1:2. But most processed foods and many sardine products tilt that scale heavily in favor of omega-6s. Some brands even use blends that are 20 times higher in omega-6 than omega-3. Now, what happens when your body is flooded with too much omega-6 and not enough omega-3? Your blood becomes thicker. Your arteries become more rigid. Your joints start to swell, especially after meals. And your immune system begins to misfire, attacking your own tissues. This is why so many seniors suffer from stiff knees or hips in the morning, puffy fingers or water retention, random skin flare-ups or rashes, and a deep fatigue that doesn't lift, even with rest. You might be thinking, but aren't sardines supposed to be full of healthy fats? They are if they're packed in their own natural oils or in a neutral, high-quality medium like extra virgin olive oil. But here's what most people don't realize. The oil inside the can isn't just surrounding the sardines, it's soaked into them. Over the weeks and months of storage, the flesh of the sardine absorbs that oil like a sponge. So if the oil is inflammatory, then so is the fish by the time you eat it. And when you heat that oil, say by pan frying or baking the sardines without draining them, it oxidizes even further, producing compounds that age your arteries and dull your immune defenses. A 2017 study published in the journal Lipids in Health and Disease showed that older adults who consumed high omega-6 to omega-3 oil blends had significantly higher levels of C-reactive protein, a marker of systemic inflammation. They also scored worse on mobility and memory tests, both vital measures of independence for seniors. But here's the empowering part. You don't have to eliminate sardines. You simply have to choose those packed in oils that help your body rather than harm it. Here's what to look for. The best choice? Sardines packed in water or extra virgin olive oil. Water preserves the natural oil profile of the fish without adding anything inflammatory. And extra virgin olive oil brings its own antioxidants and heart-protective polyphenols that support healthy blood flow and reduce joint stiffness. A close second? Sardines in their own brine or natural juices. These maintain the original nutritional balance and allow you to season and flavor them yourself without added industrial fats. If you already have sardines packed in low-quality oils, don't panic, just drain them thoroughly and rinse under cold water before eating or cooking. This removes much of the excess oil and can help reduce the inflammatory load. And here's a practical upgrade. When preparing sardines, add anti-inflammatory spices like turmeric, black pepper, or oregano, and serve with lemon juice or fresh herbs. These ingredients don't just add flavor, they help counteract oxidation and protect your blood vessels. Because at this stage of life, every detail counts, especially when it comes to what's fueling your joints, your heart, and your brain. Eating sardines the right way can be a gift to your body. But eating them packed in the wrong oil? That's a silent stressor that builds over time and chips away at your energy, clarity, and comfort. And the truth is, most seniors who feel tired for no reason or slightly off after meals aren't imagining things. Your body is wise. It remembers. It speaks in symptoms. So choose oil that supports the rhythm of your heart, not the friction in your joints. And we're just getting to the heart of it, because in the next item, we'll expose a sardine-related issue that's rarely discussed, and it involves a sneaky mineral imbalance that could be weakening your bones, draining your muscles, and shrinking your energy stores faster than you realize. Stay with me. This one's rarely talked about, but deeply important. Here's something unexpected at number 3. The calcium trap that's weakening bones and muscles. You've probably heard it before. Sardines are a great source of calcium. And it's true, especially if you eat them with the bones. In fact, just one serving of canned sardines can deliver up to 30% of your recommended daily calcium. Sounds perfect for seniors, right? Stronger bones, better muscle support, lower risk of fractures. But what most people don't realize is that calcium is only part of the story. And without the right balance of nutrients to go with it, this so-called superfood could quietly be backfiring on your health, especially for men and women over 60. Let's unpack this. Calcium doesn't work in isolation. It needs magnesium, vitamin D, and vitamin K2 to get into your bones and stay there. Without those cofactors, calcium can drift into the wrong places, like your arteries, your joints, or your kidneys. That's when the problems begin. Instead of strengthening your skeleton, excess calcium with no guidance can stiffen your blood vessels, trigger muscle cramps, and increase the risk of calcification in soft tissues, which makes blood flow more difficult and joint movement more painful. And here's where it gets personal. As we age, our magnesium levels drop, and our ability to synthesize vitamin D through sunlight decreases. Most seniors are also low in K2, which is found in fermented foods we don't eat as often anymore. That means the very calcium you're trying to absorb from sardines might not be going where it's supposed to. You might even be feeling it already. Have you been experiencing random muscle tightness or twitching, especially at night, stiffness in the neck, back, or shoulders, dental plaque building up faster than usual, or small calcium deposits forming under the skin, especially near the joints? These are often the first signs that your body is storing calcium in the wrong places and not depositing it into your bones where it belongs. And when calcium hardens your blood vessels, your heart has to work harder to circulate blood. That increases blood pressure, restricts oxygen delivery, and affects energy, and yes, even sexual function in men and women over 60. So what's the connection with sardines? If you eat them regularly for their calcium, especially with the bones, but don't balance that with enough magnesium and K2, your body may be stockpiling calcium without supervision. This is why so many seniors with osteoporosis still suffer from arterial stiffness, fatigue, and nerve issues despite taking calcium supplements or eating calcium-rich foods. But here's the hopeful part. Sardines can still be helpful if you pair them wisely. If you're going to eat sardines for their calcium, make sure to add foods rich in magnesium, like leafy greens, pumpkin seeds, or a small handful of almonds. You can also sprinkle ground flax or chia on top of your dish for both fiber and mineral support. To boost vitamin K2, add a small amount of fermented foods, like sauerkraut, natto, a Japanese fermented soybean, or aged cheese like Gouda or Brie a few times a week. These help escort calcium out of the bloodstream and into the bones where it belongs. And don't forget vitamin D, whether from safe sun exposure or a supplement if needed. Because here's the truth. Calcium is like concrete. It needs a blueprint and a builder. Otherwise, it ends up where it doesn't belong, clogging up the works instead of strengthening the structure. A 2016 study in the British Journal of Nutrition found that older adults who consumed high calcium diets without magnesium had higher rates of arterial plaque and joint calcification. But those who balanced their intake with magnesium and K2 saw better bone density and better cardiovascular health. And it doesn't take much. 1 or 2 changes to your plate, adding a sprinkle of pumpkin seeds, a few forkfuls of fermented vegetables, or a magnesium-rich herbal tea could make the difference between aging with freedom or aging with stiffness. The lesson here? Don't fear calcium, but don't take it blindly either. Your body is brilliant, but it needs the right tools. When you support your minerals in harmony, you protect your balance, your strength, and your ability to move confidently through each day. If this video is resonating with you so far, take a moment to subscribe to our channel. We're here to support your health, your joy, and your independence every single week. And don't forget to visit thegoldenyearsrx.com, our online community where laughter, wisdom, and daily health transformations go hand in hand. Coming up next, we'll dive into something even more subtle and perhaps more dangerous. A hidden pollutant found in many sardine brands that could be increasing your risk of brain fog, hormonal imbalance, and even heart arrhythmias. It's one of the most overlooked threats in tinned seafood. You'll want to hear this next. Number 2, the hidden heavy metals that are quietly fogging your brain. Sardines are small. And small fish are supposed to be safer, right? That's what we're told. They're lower on the food chain, they don't live as long, and they don't accumulate toxins the way larger fish like tuna or swordfish do. And while that's partly true, there's still one critical issue most seniors are never warned about. Sardines, especially those not wild-caught or carefully sourced, can still contain mercury, cadmium, and even traces of arsenic. These are heavy metals, and over time, even in small amounts, they can take a serious toll on your nervous system, heart rhythm, energy, and memory. Let's unpack this. Heavy metals don't just pass through the body. They accumulate, especially in fatty tissues like your brain, your liver, and your nervous system. And as we age, our ability to detox naturally slows down. That means what you ate decades ago might still be with you, and what you eat now adds to that toxic burden. Now picture this. You're eating sardines 2 or 3 times a week because you've been told they're great for your heart and brain. But depending on where they were caught and how they were processed, you might also be feeding your body microdoses of neurotoxic metals with every bite. Have you been feeling slower to recall names or thoughts, numbness or tingling in your hands or feet, more anxious, moody, or irritable than usual? A strange cloudiness that doesn't seem to lift even after rest? These are common signs of neurotoxic exposure, and mercury is one of the most well-documented culprits. It interferes with the way your brain uses energy. It damages nerve cells, and it blocks the production of neurotransmitters that regulate everything from memory to mood to motor control. But here's something few people talk about. While mercury levels in sardines are lower than in large fish, they're not zero. And when combined with other metals like cadmium, which can leach into the ocean from industrial pollution and be absorbed by bottom-feeding fish, the cumulative impact over time can be substantial, especially if your liver, kidneys, or gut aren't functioning at their peak. A 2018 study published in Environmental Research found that frequent consumption of canned sardines in certain countries was associated with elevated blood cadmium levels in older adults. This correlated with weaker grip strength, poorer balance, and even higher rates of mild cognitive decline. And the scariest part? Most seniors never connect the dots. Because the symptoms are subtle, gradual, and easily written off as just getting older. You're not imagining it. Toxins build slowly, but they speak clearly once they reach a tipping point. So what can you do? Start by choosing sardines that are wild-caught and traceable to clean waters, such as the North Atlantic or Pacific coast near Portugal, Spain, or British Columbia. These regions tend to have stricter environmental controls and cleaner waters. Avoid sardines from heavily industrialized or overfished waters where runoff and heavy metal accumulation are more common. Many low-cost sardines come from the Indian Ocean or parts of Southeast Asia, where testing and regulation are often less consistent. Next, support your body's natural detox pathways. This doesn't require a supplement. You just need to eat foods that help bind and remove heavy metals gently and consistently. Try adding fresh coriander or parsley to your meals, a squeeze of lemon juice or a splash of apple cider vinegar, garlic, which contains sulfur compounds that support liver detoxification, or even cooked seaweed, like wakame or dulse once a week, which helps bind metals and escort them out. And stay hydrated. Clean water helps flush toxins through your kidneys and reduces the load on your liver. One more thing to remember, check the label. Some sardine products list mercury warnings in fine print. If it's not there, go online and see if the company does third-party testing. Brands that care about your health will share that information openly. Your memory, your clarity, and your confidence aren't just about age. They're about what your brain is swimming in and what your cells are storing. And when you remove even a small amount of toxic pressure from your system, the difference can be surprising. Many seniors report brighter thinking, steadier hands, and even improved balance after reducing their exposure to hidden metals. It's never too late to lighten the load. And that brings us to the final truth, the one most directly connected to the video's title. Because inside the can, hiding under the fish and oil, may be the biggest shock of all. The next item isn't just about what's in the sardines, it's what's been added, and it could be the real reason you need to stop eating them until you see what's next. Number 1. The preservatives and additives hidden in sardines that could be wrecking your gut and triggering silent inflammation. Because the most shocking part about sardines isn't the can, the oil, or even the toxins from the sea. It's what gets added afterward, the chemicals and preservatives that hide in the fine print on the label and go completely unnoticed by most seniors. And if you've ever had unexplained digestive discomfort, bloating, or a strange reaction after eating sardines, this might be the real reason why. Let's start with a common one, sodium benzoate. This is a preservative often used to prevent spoilage and extend shelf life in canned fish. On its own, it may seem harmless. But when sodium benzoate is combined with vitamin C, which is naturally present in sardines, it can form benzene, a known carcinogen, linked to oxidative stress and cellular damage. Even in small amounts, this can quietly age your cells and weaken your immune defense, something no senior can afford to risk. Another hidden danger? MSG, monosodium glutamate. While not listed in every can, it can be disguised under names like yeast extract, hydrolyzed protein, or natural flavorings. MSG overstimulates nerve cells, and in sensitive individuals, it can cause symptoms like headaches, dizziness, chest tightness, rapid heartbeat, nausea. Sound familiar? You might think it's just your body getting older, but in reality, you could be reacting to a chemical enhancer that's been added to boost flavor in low-quality sardines. And here's something even more disturbing. Some sardines are packed in refined salt solutions that are extremely high in sodium chloride, but completely devoid of trace minerals like potassium, magnesium, or iodine. This kind of salt can increase fluid retention, raise blood pressure, and disrupt the delicate balance your kidneys work so hard to maintain. And if you're taking blood pressure medication or diuretics, this imbalance can create even more complications, from fatigue and cramping to dangerous shifts in heart rhythm. Now think about how often these additives appear together: preservatives, synthetic flavorings, processed salt. You might be eating them several times a week, believing you're making a smart, nutrient-dense choice, when in reality you're layering inflammation, confusion, and stress onto your most vital systems. And what makes it worse is how your digestive system changes with age. Your stomach produces less acid, your gut lining becomes more sensitive. Your microbiome, the healthy bacteria that support immunity and mental clarity, becomes more fragile. Add in chemical preservatives, and it's like setting fire to the forest you're trying to protect. If you've noticed, bloating after meals, sudden sensitivity to foods, mood changes or irritability, skin flare-ups or dry patches, and a general feeling of off in your digestion. These could all be symptoms of chemical stress from hidden additives. You're not imagining it. Your body is trying to send you a message. But here's the empowering part. You can still enjoy sardines if you choose them wisely. Look for brands with only 3 ingredients: sardines, water or olive oil, and salt. That's it. No colorings, no preservatives, no flavor enhancers. Avoid any can that lists more than 5 ingredients, especially if you don't recognize them. And here's a gold standard move. Switch to fresh sardines if you can. Grill or bake them with herbs and lemon. Or buy them frozen from a trusted fishmonger and prepare them at home. This way you're getting the pure nutrition without the chemical baggage. And if you're relying on sardines for your omega-3s, consider rotating in wild mackerel, anchovies, or cold-pressed fish oil supplements from reputable sources. These can support your brain, joints, and heart without exposing you to hidden irritants. Because at the end of the day, this isn't about fear, it's about wisdom. Your body is still capable of healing, thriving, and strengthening, but only when you feed it what it understands. Real food, real nutrients, and none of the synthetic confusion. So stop eating sardines until you know what's inside the can. Read the label, know your brand, and give your body the support it needs to stay mobile, mentally sharp, and independent for years to come. Before we close, if you found value in this video, subscribe now to our channel so you never miss these life-changing insights. And don't forget to visit thegoldenyearsrx.com, our community of seniors who are taking their health into their own hands and supporting one another with purpose. You've got more life to live. Let's fuel it right, starting with what's inside the can.